And I'm sure, and I'm happy the Minister for Energy is here, so that we can begin to inform citizens if they are in places that poses danger to them, we begin to relocate them. I already told the National Youth Service to provide some land for us to relocate some of the people who are in the most dangerous parts of Nairobi. I had a conversation with Governor yesterday. I had a conversation with the DG of NIS. I had a conversation with the Ministry of ASAL and the CS Malonza. And so I think in that context, what are the flashpoints and how do we, ahead of time, deal with those flashpoints? How do we mobilize members of the national government administration to support all this effort? Interior should be at the center of it. And then I also asked the military, and I'm happy the Minister for Defense is here, to provide some of the capabilities they have to support citizens.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for being here. My name is Sandra Macharia, and I am the Director of the UN Information Service here in Nairobi. And welcome to this press conference on the 2024 Civil Society Conference in support of the Summit of the Future, which will be taking place at the UN headquarters here in Gigiri on Thursday and Friday, the 9th and the 10th of May. And just to let you know that we will also be webcasting this press conference on our UN Web TV channels. And just before we start, I just want to take this opportunity to say that in the context, of course, of the recent floods that we have been experiencing here in Kenya and in the East African region, that I would like to reiterate the UN Secretary General's message of condolence to the governments and the people of the countries affected, especially the families of those who have died or who have been injured in the disaster. I will now go ahead and introduce our panel. First is Mr. Maher Nasser, who is the Director of Outreach in the UN's Department of Global Communications and in New York. And next to him is Ms. Carol Agengo, who is one of the co-chairs of the 2024 Civil Society Conference. And next to her is Ms. Nodara Yusuf, a co-chair also of the Civil Society Conference. And on the extreme left there is Michelle Griffith, who leads our team on our common agenda in the Executive Office of the Secretary General. And without much ado, I will hand over to Maher.
Jambo. Bongo has been oscillating at about 100 individuals, and these are in isolated populations in Aberdare and the Buru Forest, and the largest population, Your Excellency, is what you will find in this particular sanctuary. Your Excellency, since 2004, when I was a young officer in Kenya Wildlife Service, ending ecological monitoring, that is when we received the cohort of bongos from the USA, and they were well embraced by the team here in Mount Kenya. And Kenya Wildlife Service and this team has worked tirelessly to recover and restore the mountain bongo through in situ breeding and rewilding. And I am pleased with the progress that the teams have made with the recovery of bongo and making this country to be extremely proud of our effort in terms of taking back a species that was going back to extinction. Your Excellency, what we are witnessing here today is a success story of Mount Kenya Wildlife Conservancy Mountain Bongo Breeding and Rewilding Program, which was established to present the species the best and last opportunity to recover naturally and re-establish a viable and self-sustaining population in the bongo native habitat that is Mount Kenya and other places. Since the launch of the National Recovery and Action Plan for the Kenya Mountain Bongo almost 5 years ago, right here at this facility, we have set an ambitious yet achievable goal of growing the bongo population to over 750 over the next 50 years.
we've been talking with Bwana Kariuki about how to grow the numbers in this country. And I'm determined to get us from that ceiling of 2 million to 5 million to 10 million to 15 million. Because I went to the Bahamas, Your Excellency, and the Bahamas is just a small island of 22 kilometers by 7 kilometers, and they get 10 million tourists a year. You go to Spain, they're getting 40 million tourists. UAE, they're getting 20, 25, 30 million tourists. Yet all these countries are not as blessed as we are in this country. So it's all about how we are going to market, and we are changing the marketing of tourism so that we can get more eyeballs here and change the way things have been done, because we've been stuck with the same rhythm over and over. The dance changed, the music changed from twists to ndombolo to different, but we are still dancing as if it was the 1960s. So we are changing that because we want to create employment. There's so many young people are not employed. We want to get the industry going, and this is foreign exchange that we brilliantly need in our country. One of my focus is the African continent. We are very blessed. You know, when I went to Rwanda, and I found that the Rwandese have a lot of hanging change, and they want to come to Kenya. Ghana, Angola, Africans have a lot of money, but we have really not been focusing.
World-celebrated biologist, natural historian, and writer David Attenborough once said, and I quote, "It's surely our responsibility to do everything within our power to create a planet that provides a home not just for us, but for all life on Earth," end of quote. The rare mountain bongo antelope is one of the species that was nearly extinct and remains critically endangered. This is due to various factors such as trophy hunting, live trade, poaching, disease, habitat loss, and fragmentation. Currently, we have an estimated 100 mountain bongo antelopes spread across 4 isolated locations in Kenya, including this sanctuary. The Mount Kenya Wildlife Sanctuary initiated a breeding and rewilding program in Kenya 20 years ago to halt the mountain bongo's impending extinct. This included the repatriation of 18 mountain bongo antelopes from several zoos across North America. This bold step has proven successful and stands as one of the most iconic wildlife conservation programs ever undertaken in Kenya, sending a message of hope that rewilding is possible. The program is truly a call for us to protect the natural wealth and wildlife of our great country, Kenya. Tourism remains a critical sector for the Kenyan economy, especially around foreign exchange earnings. As a service sector, it creates numerous jobs and supply chain opportunities. Conservation is at the center of the success of the tourism sector. The Bottom-up Economic Transformation Agenda, BETA, has a commitment to promote Kenya's tourism and its diversification by promoting niche products and services. Conservation tourism is one such niche product that attracts high-value domestic and international tourism. God has blessed our beloved country with diverse flora and fauna that have made Kenya one of the top tourist destinations in the world. Unfortunately, over time, a variety of factors ranging from human interference to the most recent climate change, including the current floods, have threatened this God-given treasure. This week, the Mount Kenya Wildlife Conservancy will release 10 mountain bongos into the Mawingu Sanctuary, giving us hope and motivation to continue to protect our endangered species and preserve their valuable habitat. This exercise will increase the number of mountain bongos released into the wild to 20 since last year. I congratulate the patron, Mr. Humphrey Kariuki, the Board of Trustees and staff at Mount Kenya Conservancy for your dedication to see the survival and protection of the mountain bongo. Congratulations. Ladies and gentlemen, the combined efforts of Mount Kenya Wildlife Conservancy, Kenya Wildlife Service, and the Kenya Forest Service is a show of exemplary collaboration and a testament of what can be achieved when we work together. Listening to the speakers before me, I'm glad to note that you all work with local communities and schools to promote conservation education. This aligns with my office approach to engaging learners in conservation efforts as well as communities in the growing and nurturing of trees. Nurturing young minds towards conscious environmental stewardship is critical. I'm glad to know that Conservancy has done so for the last 20 years, where they have hosted over 400,000 students on educational trips. This is truly remarkable. In 2022, our president spelled out a vision to plant and grow 15 billion trees by the year 2032, with a target to see our national tree cover increase from 12.13% to 30% by the year 2032. We request all partners present today to support the implementation of the President's National Landscape and Ecosystem Restoration Strategy that will help us protect Kenya's irreplaceable biodiversity and see us achieve the targeted tree cover. This necessitates a concerted effort by all institutions, partners, and individuals to grow trees with a target of each one of us planting 30 trees annually, especially during the rainy seasons. I trust that we are all leveraging the current trends to plant more trees. Organizations like the Mount Kenya Wildlife Conservancy have planted over 40,000 indigenous trees to help restore the forest, thereby preserving and protecting all wildlife, great and small. In closing, let me say that we are confident that Mount Kenya Wildlife Conservancy and your partners will continue to support the increase of the mountain bongo antelope to a level that they will no longer be marked as an endangered species in Kenya. We look forward to that day and look forward to celebrating it with you.
Grace and the power to become a dedicated steward and